I am currently driving through Arkansas, and if anyone's on here yet, can you tell me if you can hear me or not? Because I think everyone can hear me, but really not sure. I'm not going to be looking at the screen too much, just because obviously I'm driving. So if I'm not like making eye contact or anything, it's because I'm being safe, so give me a break. So while I've been driving, I did a questions thing on Instagram where like people can ask you questions. And I had two people ask questions like on that about real estate, about like how I got started in that, what I did at the beginning. And then I had a couple more people that actually just like messaged me on, like, slid into my DMs, asking just kind of real estate related questions of like kind of what I did at the beginning. And so I thought that might be something that was valuable to people to hear, because right now, I mean, Alyssa and I started this business a couple years ago, and we have, full-time employees and multiple other things going on. And so right now it's kind of hard to, just say, well, this is what we do right now, because it doesn't really apply to what it was when I actually started. Hey, Ryan or Ronnie or any of you guys that are on here, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, just like give me a thumbs up or something. I just want to make sure this is actually recording. I think it is. Alright. So one of the questions that I got asked is like, what did I do in the beginning? Like, how did I start my business? And so I'm gonna gear this all around what I did when I was basically on my own in the very beginning, before I had a team, because I know that there's a lot of people who are new or are just starting, or maybe you've been in the business for a little while and just need some help. And by no means am I like this huge expert and all of that, but I mean, I've sold quite a few houses, and I sold quite a few when I was on my own too, and so I just thought it might be valuable to some of you to hear kind of what I did. So basically when I started, I had only lived in Oklahoma for about a year and a half at that point. I didn't really have a huge network, and if you're starting, I mean, this really applies in any business, not just real estate, but if you're starting a new business, the best way is if you've got a network already. And unfortunately, I didn't really have that. So when I started, I really did three things. I did an open house every single Sunday for literally over 3 years. I mean, and a lot of times I did them on Saturdays too. That was a huge source of business. And I've heard a lot of people say right now, and open houses aren't that good, and I don't know how people get leads from open houses. They're a waste of time. You're probably just not doing them right. And I don't mean to like just be too direct about it, but I mean, I got a lot of business from open houses, and the key to them is you don't want to come across like every other real estate agent doing an open house, where the person walks in the house and you're like, oh, hey, I've got a sign-in sheet. I need you to go sign in. And then you just immediately jump into talking to them about the house or talking to them about real estate. That doesn't help anything. When you're doing an open house, your goal is to build rapport with that person. And so when I was doing them, I was asking anything that I could to build rapport with them that had nothing to do with real estate. So if they had on like an OU hat, And at that time, Baker Mayfield was a huge quarterback, so I'd start talking about Baker Mayfield. And, if there was a game recently, what happened then? Anything that you can find to kind of build rapport with them. And again, this is the same in any business. I mean, if you got a brick and mortar, if you got a retail store, people walk in, people want to work with people who they like and trust. And so if they can't like and trust you, or if you're only talking about business, how are they supposed to build a relationship with you? So do all you can to actually build a relationship. Number 2 was I sent a ton of direct mail, and we still do. We sold 190 houses last year, and almost every single one of those sellers came from direct mail. We'll almost double that this year, and again, pretty much every one of those sellers came from direct mail. But when I started, what I would do is I would mail to just certain neighborhoods. So I picked a couple neighborhoods that I actually knew and that I wanted to sell in, and I would run like little market stats for them, and I would mail them to them every month. The other thing I would do is I would type stuff out that's like, hey, if you need help, if you need somebody to spray your yard, or if you need contractors for anything, or whatever it was, and I would tell them on there, I have all these people, I'm willing to share them with you, give me a call. And then the key is you want to hand sign every one of them at the bottom, and you want to handwrite their name and address on the envelope. So it takes a ton more time, but that's how you're going to get people to open the letter. If you're just mailing them an envelope with their name printed on it from your computer, they're getting 100 more of those every week from different insurance and security systems and all kinds of crap. They're not going to open it. So you got to do something from the get-go to make yourself stand out, and that always worked for me. The other thing, when I started, I would always send out just sold cards. So wherever, it didn't matter if I listed the house and sold it, or if I had the buyer, I would send them these postcards that had a picture of that house on it, and I actually had a landing page for it too that would say, hey, I just sold this house in this neighborhood, or in your neighborhood, and if you want to know what your home's value is worth, you go to this website. So they'd go to the website, they could put in their address, and in their mind they're thinking, oh, I'm going to get this automated value back. Well, all it does is give me their information. I call them, and instead of just calling and bugging them or cold calling them out of the blue, I'm actually calling them to give them something of value that they actually want to know. So that's a huge other way that can help you if you're just starting, or if you need a little boost in your business. And then number 3 was I networked a lot. And I think when people hear networking, they think, oh, you went to these like little meetups and you went to happy hours, and I did some of that. Networking is more impactful when you're doing it one-on-one. And instead of asking somebody to go to coffee or go to lunch or whatever, just to tell them about what you do, what helped me the most was I would honestly make it a challenge that I would try to send that person as much business as I could possibly find. So for example, one of my best friends, Tony Lugafett, at that time he was doing, it was a tracking company. So basically what they would do was they could track anything, but they mainly did it with oil and gas. So they could do GPS trackers on trucks, they could do them on pipe, they could do it on anything. I actually met a guy at an open house who owned an oil and gas company that they did that kind of stuff, that Tony could help him. And connecting them, they ended up partnering together, which is a pretty big deal. But you never know who you can connect people to or how much business you can send them until you actually try. And so instead of just going to meet up with people to try to have them send you business, try going to meet people with the intention being that you are going to send them business. Because I promise you, if you are sending that person a lot of business, they're going to feel obligated themselves to send you business. Because you're just adding massive value to them. And I think that's, I mean, really of everything that I said, the 3 things that I did when I started my business was everything was revolved around how can I help that person? And if I could help that person, then they will in turn help me. But my goal was never going into any, first conversation or to any new relationship as I want to meet them so that I can get something from them. I would go into it as I want to meet them and I want to see how much I can give to them. And I think that that's kind of the new, cool thing to talk about is oh, you need to add value to people, It's not really cliche. I mean, it is, if you can actually add value to them, it will make a huge impact on your business and on your life. Not just your business. I mean, some of my best friends today came from that time when I was starting my business because I just wanted to get to know more people so I could help them. And in return, I ended up getting help, but that was never my goal. So, I don't know. I hope this helps some of you. I didn't really have any big purpose behind it. I was honestly just driving. I'm in Benton, Arkansas, home of Walmart right now. I left here from Dallas about 1 o'clock, and it was supposed to be about a 7-hour drive. It took me almost 45 minutes to get out of Dallas. Once I got out of Dallas, I thought, okay, I'm free and clear. Well, then there was construction on the first about 100 miles going down Highway 30, which is what I'm on. So it took me a good 2 hours to make it about 40 miles. So I'll be in the car for another 3.5 hours. So I just thought, after I was getting questions about it on Instagram, I thought I'd jump on here and maybe do a quick video about it and just help you guys in any way that I can. So yeah, I hope this helped you, and if I can answer any questions or help you with anything else, I've got nothing but time right now, so I'm happy to help you guys. Give me a call or shoot me a message. I'll help any way I can. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Have some stuff planned. I think the weather's going to be nice all over, so go enjoy it. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.